So as obedient as I am to Marvel and the other comic book movie releases, I will admit that I don't read many of their corresponding comics, though of all the characters that I have wanted to get into, Deadpool is really high on the list. I own 2 of his books myself, but I would never call myself immersed in his lore. The books are fun, and from the beginning word of there being a Deadpool movie, I've been interested, but unsure how this particular style would translate to the screen. Then that test footage that we've all seen was leaked, and I was convinced, and so was Fox apparently, because, well, here I am reviewing it. And in short, I had an absolute blast with it. You get a total understanding of the film's tone right from the hilarious opening credits sequence, and it sticks straight through to the great wink and nod of an end credits scene. It's wacky, self-aware, is insulted by the very idea of a fourth wall, and above all, it feels friendly. The sense of humor that the film has is just a lot of fun and feels like your best friend who's a bit of an asshole, but you don't really mind because he's really funny when you get right down to it. There are 2 central elements that I think really bring Deadpool to be as successful as it is. The first of those is Ryan Reynolds, who I think has finally found that role that will really stick with him. Much like Hugh Jackman will forever be Wolverine, Ryan Reynolds is just so instantly charming in this role and brings the character to life. He sells you on the character and the film's style of humor. The second element is the extremely witty, if jackassish, screenplay. The dialogue is sharp and it never passes on an opportunity to crack a joke. Matched with pitch-perfect delivery from Reynolds, and these 2 excellent elements just work wonderfully in tandem to create what could be one of the best comedies of the decade so far. Not to say that Ryan Reynolds as Wade Wilson, aka Deadpool, and the script are the only things carrying this film though, because the direction and supporting cast also do a good job, just not as noticeably as those 2 other elements. I've gotta say, for a first film minus 1 movie I can't find much evidence of really existing, this is pretty impressive. It's not stellar direction, but Tim Miller has a good balance of scripted comedy, performance comedy, and especially visual comedy. He plays around with visuals in a cartoony but not too over-the-top way. He certainly implements visual gags that can only be done in a film more than most of the comedies coming out this day at least, and I think that deserves some credit. The supporting cast is great for the most part. The main villain Francis, aka Ajax, played by Ed Skrein, is a bit more of a present villain than a lot of recent comic book movies, though he still isn't quite as fleshed out as some of the better ones that we've seen. TJ Miller as Wilson's best friend, Weasel, is funny in his handful of scenes, and Colossus and Negasonic Teenage Warhead, played by Andre Triceteaux and Brianna Hildebrand, respectively, also have good character, though they aren't entirely as fleshed out as I had hoped. I'm not saying they should have been the center of a movie called Deadpool, but a bit more development would have been nice. The best of the supporting cast is Moneca Baccarin as Wilson's girlfriend, Vanessa. She and Reynolds have the most amount of chemistry I think I've ever seen in a comic book movie, and as a result, you get really invested in the romantic element of the story because Vanessa and Wade Wilson are interesting and charming characters. She does an excellent job and proves to be another great element of this comic book movie. Deadpool is a unique comic book movie in that it might be the funniest one in recent memory, and the style of comedy really clicked with me. Like I said, it feels like a class clown who you really love, and at the end of the day, it's really what makes this movie stand out among all the other superhero origin movies that we've been getting recently, and God bless it for that. The direction is solid, Ryan Reynolds and Moneca Baccarin are excellent, the screenplay is stupidly witty and self-reflexive, and the whole movie just finds the right amount of being crude and being insulting while also packing in a cool 90s hip-hop soundtrack, somewhat more realistic violence, some great visual effects, and some really tight editing. Deadpool gets an A-. Have you seen Deadpool? What did you think about it? Let me know in the comments below. Did you like my review? Well, then like the video. Do you want to see even more of my stuff? Be sure to subscribe. Do you want to support my work even more? Then share the video with your friends and consider donating to my Patreon, which I'm working on evolving a little bit more than what it is right now. Thanks again, friends. Stay spectacular.